I believe technology primarily impacts humans in two ways: needs and wants. When considering technology for education, one needs to carefully evaluate what is best for students, teachers, and the content being taught. George Basala, in his book, The Evolution of Technology, wrote about, because the resources of nature are varied, and because human values and tastes differ from culture to culture, from time to time, and from person to person, we should not be surprised to find a tremendous diversity in the products of technology. The artifacts that constitute the made world are not a series of narrow solutions to problems generated in satisfying basic needs, but are material manifestations of the various ways men and women throughout time have chosen to define and pursue existence. Seen in this light, the history of technology is a part of the much broader history of human aspirations, and the plethora of made things are a product of human minds replete with fantasies, longings, wants, and desires. The artifactual world would exhibit far less diversity if it operated primarily under the constraints imposed by fundamental needs. When I think of George Basala's quote, I think about how he was talking about some of the basic technology in the Stone Age was the wheel and the hammer and things like that. And as history's gone on and time's gone on, humans have developed more advanced technology. And some of it is from the very basic as the wheel to the more advanced now as we have AI and computers and many other forms of technology. What I think we need to consider are our needs versus our wants. And then another person in George Basala's book, Butler, he talked about the future relationships of humans and the machine, because humans aren't as accurate as machines. They can be replaced by technology, but we can't forget that humans are the ones that have emotions and feelings and thoughts and intelligence, and we need to remember that we can't let go of the human part of society, even though technology will be more accurate, more powerful than humans. We still got to remember and the humans. When I think of George Basala's quote from The Evolution of Technology, I think about, what is your target? What are you aiming to accomplish when using technology in education? Are you thinking about needs of the students or yourself as a teacher? Or are you thinking about wants? How are you planning to use that technology effectively? Sometimes it's something that just makes life easier and it's a benefit. Sometimes it engages students more, so it might be a want. Or sometimes it might be a need and it might make it easier for the student and you. So George Basala really talks about technology in that way, and I really, really love how he emphasizes, is it a need or is it a want? And you need to think about which it is, and does it benefit you or your students, or both. In Crusading for Technology for Learning, I believe four of the most important things to remember to start with in planning is thinking about preparing our students for 21st century skills. Those are crucial to teach. Those four skills that I believe that are most important are the 4 C's. That's an easy way to sum it up to remember it. Creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, communication. In creativity, students will learn to use a wide variety of idea generation methods. They'll learn to create new ideas. They'll be able to work through the creation process, developing and revising and improving their own original ideas. Failure is a gift, as it's one way we learn. It's a part of creativity. Teaching students critical thinking skills helps them to be able to compare, evaluate, and make wise decisions. They must be able to reason and problem solve and reflect on the process that they have gone through and what went wrong, what went right, and how to make it better. Collaboration is important because students must learn to work with others in teams. They must be responsible for one's part. They must learn to be flexible and value others' contributions. Above all, students must learn communication. They must be able to express their thoughts and ideas clearly in many forms and settings. They must be able to listen and understand others' perspectives. They must be able to choose effective methods to communicate one's purpose. They must be able to communicate and work in a diverse global society. When preparing our students for the future and in today's education world, we need to think about our students' needs and wants and our needs and wants. We can't just base it off of wants. We've got to back it up with good sound theory. We talked about the 21st century learning skills, the 4 C's, and now I'm going to mention a couple of theories that I think are very important for our students in the future, now, and beyond. Those theories are connectivism and constructionism. Those are the two that I really believe will help prepare our students for the future. And if we use those theories in our planning for education and technology together, then our students will be successful and prepared for the future. Constructionism was discovered and named by Seymour Papert. He based it off of Piaget's early learning theories, but he believes that children learn best by doing, tinkering, and making. And it's actually a learning theory I value strongly in my art classroom. You can see in these photos that I have kids that are creating digitally with 3D printing, from using clay to fabric and digital circuitry. I believe that all of those things involve constructionism, and you can do it using technology or not. And what you as a teacher need to decide is what's best for the learner in how to learn that concept. But kids need that chance to explore and make and figure it out, because that will help them be more successful in the 21st century. Connectivism is an important learning theory that I believe is crucial to consider in this digital age we live in today. It focuses on that the learner can find and learn information, but then that leads them to search for and connecting to even more information and learning. It is a network of continuous learning. Some people argue that it is not a learning theory, and that is just a combination of past learning theories of cognitivism, social constructivism, and constructionism, etc. But Downs and Siemens stand firmly in their opinions that it is a learning theory due to the abundance and never-ending information on the internet. Knowledge is formed and is connected by the actions and experiences of the learner. I believe that's really important in today's society and in today's education, because there is a world of knowledge. We have YouTube, we have forums, we have social media. Students aren't limited by textbooks anymore. If they are really interested in something, they could seek knowledge. Teachers can seek knowledge by researching and finding more information on the internet. They can connect with other educators. They can connect with experts in the field. That's why I truly believe connectivism is a very, very, very important learning theory in this digital age today. But when crusading, don't get caught up or too captivated and forget learning needs to be student-centered and student-driven. Students need to drive the learning and pursue their own interest. They need to connect with real life and their interest. They need to still be learning the importance of basic foundations of reading, writing, math, science, and history, because those are important too. I strongly believe that students still need human connections. Don't forget the humanistic side. If students were solely taught by computers and robots, their social emotional state would be the downfall. And when I say that, I mean computers are great and technology is great, but students still need to learn how to interact with each other, how to read each other's emotions and feelings and actions, and they need to be taught that digitally and in actual life, because there's two forms of life when you're living. Now, there's a digital world and then there's the actual world. So it's important that both of those worlds are considered, and that it's not just a robotic lesson teaching them, because students need that caring teacher, the human teacher, to care about them and to understand them and to be there to support them. In order to use technology and keep it student-centered and student-driven, you need to consider the social emotional state of the students. When you think back to the 4 C's, those 21st century skills that we talked about earlier, those are how you can build those social emotional skills in students digitally and in person. Those are creativity, collaboration, critical thinking, and communication. Those are building those people skills that are helping keep it student-centered and helping students learn to think of others and to work with others. In conclusion, not all learning needs to be done via technology. Technology is here to help us in areas where traditional teaching and learning could not reach. Technology can make our lives easier. It can give more time back to students and teachers so that there's more time for human connection and interaction. Teachers are there to facilitate, to mentor, to guide. Use technology where it helps amplify learning and not just as a substitute for something else. Use technology to help prepare our students for a future that they do not know yet that is to come. Use technology with a purpose. In the end, change is inevitable, and policymakers, teachers, educators, leaders, everyone need to consider equity for all, diversity in our schools and in our cities and in our states and our countries and the world, and they need to include all, and they need to be culturally responsive as the society becomes even more global when they are thinking about planning technology and education for the future of our students.